49, I think it was, we bought a little place over on West Columbus Street that we hadn't seen in the inside when we bought it, and it turned out to be a corn crib. Then someone had made a garage of it, so it had great big doors in the front, and we decided to restore that, and we made a one-room apartment out of it with a little balcony bedroom. And we were so fascinated with the area that we decided that by walking through at night, and especially the houses we thought were something that should be retained.
Mr. and Mrs. Fetch and Mrs. Fetch's father, Harry Royce, had bought and restored, I think, 4 properties. And they wanted to spread the word that this was a good idea and it was a good way to preserve houses that were of historical value.
So in 1963, we had architectural controls established. So today, before you can get a building permit in the village, you have to have a certificate of appropriateness from the German Village Commission. Now, some people object to that. They object to it because they feel as though some of their liberties are taken away from them. And I don't disagree with this philosophy either, but nevertheless, the fact that we do have architectural controls in the village, it has made the village grow with some type of uniformity. Otherwise, it would be a hodgepodge of most anything.
We decided to expand the laundromat just a little bit. Well, we found that it had been a grocery store before, and we couldn't change the zoning to a laundromat, so we opened up one day with $1,000 worth of groceries and decided that we would move as the customers asked us to move. And people would say, oh, why don't you have this, or why don't you have that? And so we just started expanding and grew into this type of general store, serving mostly the people who live in the area. That was our aim, was to serve the people in the area.
Let's see, I think Fred planted a tree up there in the middle of Beck Street or 1 street up there. He planted some tree up there. Well, what we did, we'd go out and I had a brick outfit I wore. It looked like brick. And we would just dig up the brick and replace them.
When we went for fresh meat, if we didn't go to Central Market, we went over to there was a business where Hausfrau Haven is right now, and that was a butcher shop. That was a meat market, and I can remember they had a trolley that went out the side door on Columbus, and they would hang entire sides of beef and pigs and wheel them right into the store, and there was a track that went along the ceiling. And us kids, when we were older, if the owner wasn't looking, we'd reach up and grab a hold of the hooks that were on the wheels, and we'd slide ourselves along the track.
I'm 93. I was born March 29th, 1919. And I was born and I lived on Whittier Street.
And you live now at
100 Reinhardt.
100 Reinhardt, and you were just off camera telling us a little bit about the history of this property.
Yes.
You built a house here.
Yes, 20 years ago.
And this
But the neighborhood was in such a condition that, being a woman from West Virginia, when anybody wanted to come and visit me from West Virginia, I decided it would be better if they didn't see the community in which I was living, because it would probably make me move. So I would meet them somewhere.
Well, it's really funny because I met the Keenses, and Shirley at that time was the office staff, one and only. And she says, oh, you've got to become involved, and why don't you lead tours and everything else? And so that's where I became involved. interesting enough, she said, "Oh, I think you'll be okay to join the society." And I said, "What do you mean okay?" She says, "Well," she says, "you know, every person who applies to be a member has to be voted on." I said, "You're kidding."
You could be blackballed?
Oh, they passed the thing around with black balls. And if there was a black ball in there, sorry.
Two of the things that came out of that conference that was really a big deal was they said, you all need to help people know more about what they're doing with their homes. You need to develop some guidelines that people can really use. So that's how we got that idea.
And this is
And then
this is the first national symposium of historic communities that was held in German Village in 1986. You've shared this with us, this poster.
Yep.
And there it is.
Mm-hmm.
So that helped you get started on focusing on guidelines.
Yes, and then the other thing they told us to do, besides the guidelines book, they said you all really could use historic preservation officer. Because we had so many projects going on and so much happening in this village.
Andi was your model.
She was my
How
model.
was she chosen as the model?
Well, she's a beautiful German girl who happened to have a dirndl to wear.
It was pure circumstance.
Had you modeled for your mom before?
Well, I mean, my mom is an artist, and my children have also
probably.
been. She's always, yeah.
Probably I've done pictures of you
Yes,
growing
you
up.
have,
Mhm.
growing up, and I used to, and then you'd give me marshmallows to have me sit longer.
Oh, I forgot that
Yeah, you
neat
did.
ploy.
Yeah, you did.
So you were paid in a
Yes,
was
paid in
with
marshmallows.
marshmallows.